Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby. This is not going to be the next ACT update, although I am going to show you a couple things and I'll probably re-show them to you again. But it's kind of like this is going to be kind of like a mini tip, well, what's been going on, a mini tip video, and I'm going to go over a couple of things with my Wi-Fi throttle, and I'm going to show you what else I'm going to try here. So let's get into this. Okay, the first thing you notice is I look like Frankenstein. I had, if you notice in other videos, I had a cyst right here. I told you I was going to get it removed. There was a spot in the middle of my forehead right here. There was a little brown spot, and I asked the surgeon at the same time if he could just remove that, and I'll get to that in a second. And then I had a basal cell cancer removed there. So this spot he was going to remove, and I was going to pay for it, but it turned out that that was some kind of ketosis or some, I don't know what the correct name is for it. It was some kind of a pre-cancer thing as well. So I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me, but this is what I look like right now, and I don't know when it'll all be back to normal. I get the stitches out in another week. So that's where I'm at right now. This is what I look like, and I was afraid of posting any videos for a little while until I got this fixed up, but it looks like it's going to be a little while before it actually clears all the way up. So this is what I look like right now. Today, what else I want to show you is I'm going to give you a little tip on paint right here, and I've never really gone over, I don't think, on how and what paints I use for for the ground cover and stuff in here. So we're going to do that, and then also let me spin this around a little bit. As you can see right there, I finally got a little tripod and a mount for my phone. So I'm going to try and do a few little video clips of the train going around here. I know you've seen this same old train, but I'm going to try it with my phone and try and incorporate them in here with this video so that I can compare the two videos together. So that is the purpose of this video, and so let me get to the layout update first. There's one little teeny weeny update, not worth making an update video on. So I'll just show you and we'll go from there. Okay, this is the only recent update, what I'm showing you here. And you can see that this track used to be there, this one right here. I have added a turnout in here, and we have added another track up here. When Gavin and I were just doing some random switching, or the random switching video that we did, we realized that there was no separate track for inbound and outbound cars at the mine. So to rectify that, I put in that turnout. The tracks are kind of far apart. I do like that though, because my intention, or at least my thinking recently, has been to whatever the mine is going to look like, and I have no idea yet. But I'm thinking about putting a little road crossing right in there, and then having some vehicles in between the two tracks, or storage for materials for the mine, something of that nature. Not even sure what kind of mine it's going to be. I have to do some investigating on potash. My intention for these little hopper cars was to haul potash. I don't know exactly the locations where they mine potash. I don't know if this would be an area that would work for a potash mine, but I'm kind of leaning towards potash. It's used in fertilizer and I don't know what else. But nevertheless, I'm thinking about potash mine up there. But anyway, there's the turnout in. I have a feeder in between the two turnouts right there. There's a little 1-inch, let me see, there's a little 1-inch piece of track right in there. There's insulators, then there's a feeder to feed the two tracks going on in there. I have dropped the wire for the turnout down through the foam. That was quite an expedition. It's the first time I've had to drop a wire through where I didn't have where everything was covered up and I didn't have any access. So I used about in my toolbox in here, I have about a 18-inch long screwdriver. And I was able to poke the 18-inch screwdriver down through there and wallow out a hole. I could have done it with a drill bit, but I was too lazy to get a drill bit. So anyway, I wallowed a hole out with the screwdriver, and the wire dropped right down through. I did realize that I do have one more slot on one of the DS64s, so I will probably run it to that one. And I think that will mean that that turnout over there will be numbered 49, because I don't want to renumber my my DS64s. I just don't want to go through that hassle. I've already got slots numbered, so the turnout out here will just be numbered whatever that slot happens to be, and I believe it's 49, but we'll get there someday. I'm hesitant to crawl under the layout because I'm afraid of banging my head on something, but at some point in time, I will get that connected to the DS64 down there and run the wire, you know, get under there and run the wire down there, and we'll number that. But now let's get into the paint. Okay, gang, these are the paints that I use on my layout. You can see that I've had some of them for quite some time. Some of them are new. This one happens to be relatively new. These I think are like 77 cents at Hobby Lobby, and then the Americanas I think go up to $1 or $1 something. But what I do is I basically go there and I try and remember in my head what color my scenery is or what color I want it to be, and then I just usually buy 2 bottles, and you'll see there's paints in here that are duplicated, 2 bottles. You may not need that on a smaller layout, or you may not need to do it right away. But I just have this collection of paints. You can see that these 2 are the same. I don't know, these 2 I think are the same. But anyways, there's a lot of duplicates, just because I don't want to have to run to the store once I get on a roll of doing painting. But I generally take these and squirt them into a little dish, and I use about, oh, I don't know, whatever the paint is, volume of paint is in the container. I use about 2 or 3 times that much water in it, and then I mix it real good with a paintbrush, and then I kind of just slop that on. Sometimes I put scenery right into the wet. If I can keep it wet, I put it right into the wet acrylic. Sometimes I don't. I just let it dry, and I put on the scenery afterwards with a wash. In fact, let's go over here. For instance, that over there, I mean, obviously it's all painted. There's no scenery on it yet. That'll have to be, I'll have to put my glue on there and then sprinkle the scenery on there. But I do it many different ways. But really what I wanted to share with you here is just what kind of paints I use, and these are just cheap acrylics. I bought some of these on sale, and like I say, there's duplicates. I don't think I have more than $40 in paint here, okay? But I have a vast variety of paint. But what I wanted to get into with it is never trust the color on the top if it's got a label. You can see, like on this particular one right here, if you were to trust this label color, you would never know this paint is that color. So every time I get one of these, I open it up, I take a little dab, and I put it on the top of the container. That way I can easily visually see what that physical color is. In fact, I have 3 of this particular color. So anyways, it's just a tip for you guys to, when you have your paints stored like this, if you use this method of painting. I know a lot of guys will just get one color and paint all their base one color and kind of go from there. I don't do it that way. I'll usually put 3 or 4 different colors on a palette, and then I kind of mix them as I go and try to blend the earth colors together. And we've talked about this before, and let me go back up here. You can see how reddish color my desert scene is, and if I swing around here, you can see how brown and gray that scenery is down there, and even the Indian ruin gets into a little bit of the red color. So I have to figure out ways to get these paints to blend with each other. So what I do is put similar colors on a palette, and I just work my way around. Once you put ground cover on it, basic earth is never the same color no matter where you go. In fact, I can go 2 or 3 miles either way, any direction I go from here in Las Cruces, and you can find red dirt, you can find white dirt, you can find gray dirt, you can find brown dirt, you know, you can find any kind of dirt, and it changes from mile to mile. So you never can go wrong. But anyway, an assembly of colors, and I do the same thing with the big colors. I buy some of the larger containers of some of the colors that I use an awful lot, some of the shades of brown, and you can see that I've got light browns, reddish browns, brown, dark brown. I mean, I've got all different kind of brown. And then, of course, lowly down there at the end, black. I use an awful lot of black because I do a lot of black washing of track and other things. So I always have a large bottle. Never waste your time buying a small bottle of black or a small bottle of white. Always buy a bigger bottle. So, that being said, that's the tip on paint today, and you've seen the addition of the switch on the layout. Now I think what I'm going to do, and you see my ugly face, of course, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take some pictures with the phone and see how that works out. Okay, there was one other thing that I wanted to at least ask you guys. I'm having real good luck with my Wi-Fi throttle. We've had a couple out at the club that we can't get connected. I don't know why. I haven't done enough research on it, but this one here works well in my room and has worked well out at the club. However, when I got out to the club and we were doing switching the other day, I had a little issue. Okay, and I'm trying to hold this away from the camera here. But anyway, I can throttle up my 919, which is basically the train that you've been seeing on the layout, and it's running right now. However, if I want to throw a turnout, I have to go here, I have to go here, I have to select the turnout, and we'll say number 7, and I can throw. You could hear it, I think. Close. But I think that I can swipe sideways and swipe back, but every time I swipe back here, see, every time I swipe the turnouts back here, I hit a number. And what I'm going to ask you guys is, I'm trying to figure out, and if I go here, I go to turnout, and I go back and do 7 again, throw, close, okay. If I do that, it's not a problem going from one turnout to another. I mean, I can hit the erase button. I can go 8, 9, turnout 89, throw, close, no problem at all. But to get back to the throttle, I've always got to go here and go back to the throttle or swipe. And what I'm trying to figure out, and maybe some of you who have had some use with this throttle can answer the question for me or email me or something. Is there a way to decrease the size of this? Because we can put multiple throttles in here, so there should be a way to decrease the size of this and add the turnout control to the bottom of this screen. And I just don't know if there's a way. I just don't know how to do it yet. I don't know how to toggle back and forth between throttle and turnout and have it retain the turnout information that I was using. So in other words, if I'm going into a switching area and I have to throw turnout 7, and I go in there and I come back out and I want to close 7 after I've been using the throttle, I don't know how to get back in there without having to re-enter 7. So if somebody has a suggestion on that, and I'm going to continue to keep trying to do some looking and see if I can get it figured out, but if somebody has an easy answer or can explain it to me, I would appreciate that. But all in all, I just love using this thing. It's much easier to carry around than the throttle. Don't have to worry about a 9-volt battery. I love the thing. Used it all day at the club yesterday. So anyway, that was the last thing, so I guess that's about it for today, gang. Okay, gang, that's it for today. I'm gonna stand way back so I don't scare you too bad in the camera. And as usual, thanks for watching.